Okay, great. So, so last time we worked on the C chord and the F chord. And so let's just go ahead and play those, okay? So what I want you to do is I'm just gonna have each of you play for me and just play the C chord like that, just one strum, and then the F chord, just one strum. All right, so Sharon, let's have you start. Do that F again. Great, great. My internet's a little funky today. Fantastic. Okay, Jennifer. Great. Rachel?
You know, I missed last week, so I don't know the C and F chords.
I was wondering, I thought you looked a little bit different, but I didn't want to say anything. Okay, so
I don't want to
let's see.
slow you down. You guys continue and I'll catch up.
Well, except how can you catch up if you don't know the chords? So, yeah. So let's just real quick, I'll give you a little review. And then did everyone here like me on Facebook? Because from this week on, I'll be posting the video of the class. So then if you have to miss, let me know so we don't wait for you. And then also the video will be posted. So, all right, so this is what you want to write. So draw this and then like that.
Okay. One, two, okay. 3. Okay.
And this is your ukulele from this view, okay? So our fingers with ukulele, we don't count the thumbs. So we start it with 1, 2, 3, 4. So using the third finger is using the ring finger. And you know you're gonna have to change your background because it's cutting your ukulele out, unfortunately. I wish it didn't because I love that background. Can you just make it normal? Figure that out and I'll come back to you. Oh, okay, there you go. All right, so finger number 3 on the 3rd fret. 1, 2, 3, the 3rd fret. And that is C chord. Okay, great. Now, when you strum, I want you to strum with your finger. You've got one side with the nail, one side without the nail. I want you to strum with the nail side down. And then the other thing is that when we play ukulele, when we play guitar, you want to strum over the sound hole, but when you play ukulele, you want to strum up here on the neck. There you go. Okay, great. All right, so that's C. And then let me give you F real fast. This one is F. Oops.
One. Okay, got it.
Okay, so why don't you mute yourself and work on those two a little bit and then I'll come back to you.
Thanks.
Okay, great. All right, so let's see. Linda, let's have you play those for me. Very nice. Jennifer, did I have you play it for me? I did, right? Okay, Winter,
yeah.
Let's have you play it for me. Play that C again. Linda, can you mute yourself Actually, let's
Yes.
see. Thanks. Okay, do that again, Winter. Great, great. Okay, let's see. Let me get rid of this right here. Okay, so Rachel, let's have you play me the F chord now.
Okay, so 1, 2.
Okay, check. You want to have the first finger on this, the second string, not the bottom string.
Okay.
And then this, the first finger's there, the second finger is up there. There you go. That's the F chord.
Okay, sounds a little better.
Yeah. Okay, great. Now, when we're learning chords, and I'm going to have you do this all the time, every time we learn a new chord, and until you get your chords really good. And, you know, tell you what, I still do it when I'm learning new chords. I want you to do it like this, where you go. So that you really listen and really hear. You're getting all of those, okay? And then the same thing with the F chord. You want to go really slow. You notice how slowly I'm going. I'm not going fast at all. The point of this is to listen to each one of your strings and see if any of your fingers are not pressing down hard enough, if maybe they're touching the wrong string by accident, if they're on top of one of your fret keys, anything like that, okay? So Sharon, let's have you do this for me first. So go ahead and just start with the C chord. Very nice. Now the F chord. Beautiful, beautiful, really good. Okay, Jennifer. Oh, Sharon, let's have you mute. Okay, Jennifer, what is causing that dead string sound? Do you know?
I think my fingers touching another string.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Okay, now the cure for that is you've got to make sure you play with the very tip of your finger, and also that your hand is like this, not ever like this. It has to be like this, okay? Play Okay, do this now, Jennifer. Look at me. Okay, take your hand and I want you to go like this. Move it up. Now try it. Oh, get on that F chord first. Get your finger that F chord. Now move your now move your hand up like this. Okay, now try it. Much better. Much better. Okay. And part of the reason, well, the reason for doing this like this is because sometimes we don't always hear when we're touching the wrong string by doing that. So that's why we want to do this, because you want to make sure that all of your chords are ringing. Great. Okay, Linda.
Okay.
Beautiful. Okay, the F. Do that one again.
Oh, that time it slipped.
Very
It
nice.
touched a little bit. I could feel it vibrate.
Yeah, yeah. And it's, you want to make sure that
Feel
that
it when
second
it's
string
touching.
rings out just as much as the others. If you're touching it at all, it won't.
Okay.
Try that again. There you go. Very nice. Can you hear the difference?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can tell when it's not right.
Yeah. And what I want you to do whenever it's not right is don't keep going. Stop like you did there. Look at your hand and see what's going on and then start again. Okay. Very good. Okay.
Okay.
Winter, let's have you
I'll
go.
mute.
What's that? Oh. that F for me again, a little bit slower? Great, great. Okay, Rachel?
Okay, so C chord. And then the F chord.
Great. Now I'd like somebody else to show Rachel how we hold the ukulele. Who wants to show her? You remember what we talked about how to hold the uke? Linda, you gonna do it?
I'll show her.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So you hold it up here by the neck.
Okay.
And then I don't know if you'll be able to see. And then you bring it out. And then your arm has to be straight here. And then you bring it back in like towards your chest. So that you're able, we do this so that you're able to stand up and hold it without a strap.
Oh, other arm. Use your right arm to go over it.
Oh.
No, you're holding it the right way. But you
Oh.
were doing it with your left arm. Put your
Okay.
right arm over it.
Okay.
And grab it right here.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Linda, Linda, take over again because you were doing that great.
Oh, okay. So you hold it by the neck and then you go out and bring it back in over your chest, and that'll enable you to stand up and hold it properly on your chest.
Awesome. Good job, Linda.
Now
Okay.
watch one, do one, teach one.
we always learn
Right?
when we teach somebody else, so that's awesome. Okay, and like she said, the point of this is because you don't want to hold it in kind of a lazy way to where you have to be sitting down. Okay, you'll get a better sound this way, and you want it to be it should go to sort of about halfway through you to there. Okay, and remember we want to be strumming up here. Okay, so let's do this now. We're going to go C, F, C, F. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, F, C, F, C, F, C, F, C, F. Very good. Okay, now I want you to do that for me. Okay, Sharon, sorry. Very nice. Now that I want you to practice that. This is the very best way to practice chord transitions from one chord to another. And as you get better, you're going to learn a lot harder chords. And this is the very best way to do it. If you waste your time doing, you're wasting time. So you just do one down, because it's about going from one chord to the other. Okay, this is the very best way to practice going from one chord to the other. And you wanted your hand to get used to doing it and your mind to get used to doing it, so eventually you don't have to look at your hands. Okay, Jennifer, let's have you go.
I feel like I'm losing the neck.
What's that?
I feel like I'm losing the neck when I go to switch.
Yes.
Are there any tricks to?
There are, and I'm so glad you asked. I was actually gonna talk about this in just a bit. So let me go ahead and tell you that now. Just turning up my volume a bit. Okay, so take your hand like this and put the actual head of your ukulele inside, right between your thumb and the rest of your hand. And if you hold the uke like this, you don't have to worry about it. See, so you've got your C, and then your F, and then your C. You see what I mean? You see how it just holds it and you've got it right there in your hand. Does that help? Okay. Then the other thing too is, remember, I want you to use your other arm. Make sure that you've got your other arm going across with it actually touching your skin. It should hurt just a little bit when you're first doing it till you get kind of used to doing it. All right. But you do need both of your hands, and you want to make sure that that it's not slipping. So if that's ever happening to you and you can't figure out how to do it, always ask me, because you want to not have it slipping while you're playing. This is a great way to hold the uke. It'll put your hand in the right position, the right angle. And we're going to learn another chord in a minute where you really need to have your hand angled like this. So if you can have it like that. Does that help, Sharon? Okay, great. Okay, Jennifer, let's have you play for me. Great, great. Okay, Linda.
Okay.
Fantastic. Great. Okay, Winter. Awesome. Winter, I love the spelling of your name. It's really cool.
Thank you.
Okay, Rachel. Okay, super. Okay, now that's how I want you to always practice. I'm going to give you every week chords that I want you to do that with. Now we're going to do the strum pattern though, and I can't remember if we did this last week or not, where it's down, 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 hit. Okay, so we're going to do it like this. Down, 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 hit. Down, 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 hit. All right, now the great thing about this strum pattern is that hit gives you time to move your hand to the next chord. So we're going to do this and go from C to the F. It'll be like this. C, 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 hit, F, 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 hit, C, and use that hit time to move your hand, okay? So here we go, all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, 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 hit, F, 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 hit, C, C, C. Say the name of the chord. F, 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 hit, C, 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 hit, F, 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 hit, C, 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 hit, F, F, F. Okay, so let's have each of you do that one for me. So Sharon, let's start with you again. You are doing fantastic, by the way. You guys are really doing great. I can tell that you practiced. It really sounds good. Sharon? Okay, I want you to go more slowly because we don't want any pause in there. It's got to be even. So I want you to go C, C, that slowly, okay? Beautiful. Really good. Really good. Is it getting easier for you holding it like this?
Yeah.
It'll take a little bit of practice. And when you hold it there, the back of your hand should actually touch your tuner. That's how much you should have your hand stretched out. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
All right, Jennifer. Okay, let's have you go a little slower. Remember, the name of this game is not to go fast, it's to not pause. That's what's hard. So you have to go slower. So let's have you go down, 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 hit. Just don't let yourself speed up. Keep it slow, okay? That it's hard, it's much harder in music to go slow than it is to go fast. And the other trick about music is that if you start out trying to go fast, it will take much longer to learn something. If you can make yourself go slow, you'll actually learn it more quickly. All right? Okay. Just like all your sports teams, I'm noticing you are way into sports. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, make yourself go slow at first, okay? We'll have lots of time to go fast later, but when you're learning a new chord, you always want to go slow so you get it really good in your head. All right, good job. Linda, let's have you play for me.
Okay.
Great. Super. Okay. Winter. Fantastic. Okay, Rachel. Great, great, great. And Rachel, this week I suggest, why don't you get a tuner if you don't have one, or an app on your phone, and really work on the tuning. Okay, you can Google that too, and that'll help you a lot to kind of see how to tune. Okay, awesome. Okay, so now we're gonna do a new chord. Yay! Okay. Now, once you have this chord, you can play in most songs in the world with these three chords that we're going to know, C, F, and G7. We're going to learn a lot more chords, but with these three chords, you can really do a lot. So go ahead and draw your chord chart. This chord is G7. Everyone got that? Okay, now This one's a little bit more tricky. It's actually a lot more tricky. And just so you know, this is the hardest part, is this beginning part on the ukulele, getting your fingertips strong, figuring out how to hold it and everything. It gets so much easier in a few weeks. All right, so we're gonna go with our first finger here, just like the F chord, just like the F chord, your first finger is here. Then your second finger is here. And then your third finger is here. So your second and third fingers are both inside the same fret. Now what that means is that if your hand is like this, you're probably not going to be able to fit both fingers inside the fret without touching the fret bar. So this is where we talk about what I was showing Sharon earlier, where you've got to have your hand, this way. Okay, so remember I was talking to you about this a few minutes ago. Let's have everybody do this. This is going to make a big difference in your ukulele playing. Okay, so hold your ukulele here. Okay, and then put this finger here, and then these two fingers here. Now let me show you why. Everybody look up here. When I play like this, both of my fingers are there and they don't fit. If I go like this, do you see how all of a sudden they fit because they're at the angle? So that's the key to playing G7 and the other chords that we're going to have where you have two fingers inside the same fret. Okay, so not like this. Do not let your hand be like this. Make sure that your hand is like this. So go ahead and put the ukulele here inside your hand. Okay, and then what this does is it forces you to be at this angle. The other thing that this does is that it brings this shoulder out, this elbow out, I mean, and that's gonna be better too. All right, you see how I'm sort of spread out all the way? That's how you want to play your uke. You do not want to play with this elbow touching your body. Okay, so you really want to do this. So go ahead and do this. Okay, now get your G chord there. Jennifer, do this. Okay, put this in your hand right there. Now let your elbow go out. Okay, the back of your hand should be touching your tuner. Let's see, that's not a good way to show you. The back of your hand should be touching your tuner when you do this the right way. I don't know why all of a sudden I can't show you this. I think I've been sitting in this seat for too many classes. It's like getting too low. You see how the back of my hand is actually touching that tuner? There, that's it, Jennifer. That's it, right there, okay? See how your elbow's out? That's fantastic. Okay, great. And that's gonna make a really big difference in your playing. Okay, so let's try this chord. It's fun, right? It's a fun sound. You're going to use this chord a ton in playing ukulele. All of these three that we've learned so far, they're the most common chords. So this is a great chord to learn, but it's hard. It's a lot harder than the C and the F chord. Okay, so Sharon, let's hear you play this for me. Fantastic. Great. Jennifer? Great. Really good. Linda? Great. Winter? Fantastic. Great. Rachel? Okay, Rachel. Remember I talked about doing this with your hand? Let's have you do that, okay? Now, make sure that the back of your hand is touching your, there you go. That's it right there. See how your elbow's out? It has to be out when you hold it the right way. Okay, now play it for me. Okay, check. check your fingers. This finger's here, and then this finger's just right the string above it, not the top string. It's right there.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Well, that sounds better.
Yeah. Okay, try to get that elbow out. There you go. And you don't want it to be real uncomfortable, but you want to try to get comfortable with your elbow out, because that's really going to give you a lot better range for playing the other chords as we get into the more difficult things. Okay, now let's do this chord with, okay, I want to hear each of your strings. See, I'm hearing, this doesn't sound good to me, so, oh, actually, I think it's a problem with my ukulele. Okay, so each one by itself. Sharon? Okay, play just this one by itself for me. Just this one. Good. And that one's a little tricky because you've got that angle between between the neck and the right. And so there you go. Now play the other two. There you go. Very nice. Very nice. Yes, perfect. And you want it to be slow, exactly like that. You want it to sound like a harp. And if the string doesn't ring, then you stop yourself, okay? But that was perfect. Okay, Jennifer. Great. Very nice. Linda. A little more slowly, because I really want your strings to ring. So what I mean is I want you to do it more like, so you're really listening to each string, okay? Do it again for me. There you go. Great. Winter? Do that again. Winter, stop for just a second because I'm not hearing you. And then, okay, now start again. Awesome. Great. Rachel? Great. Now, when you play, you want to make sure that you're playing in a chair with no arms, okay? Because the arms are going to mess up your playing unless you want to lift up above them, all right? Or you can sit forward in a chair with arms, but you don't want to play in a chair with arms because it'll kind of affect this. All right? So now, let's go back to this G7. G7. Play that G7. Now, I want you to notice what we can do here. If we go G7 and then we want to go to an F chord, you lift up these two fingers. Look up here. Okay, you lift up these two fingers and you put this finger down here. So you keep this finger down. You're not going to lift up this finger at all. So you've got G7 here, and you're going to lift up those two fingers and put this finger down to play your F chord. All right, so do that. You're going to go G7 and then lift up and put this finger down and play the F. So G7, just one strum on the G7, and then lift up and put it down and play the F chord. And then back to the G7 chord and back to the F chord. This is called anchoring. So you've got, this is your anchor finger, and it's really nice. Whenever you can do this with chords, you want to learn which finger's going to be an anchor and how to do it. It won't always be there, but when it is, we want to use that because it makes it so you don't have to look at it. So you've got the G7, F, G7. Does everybody see what I'm talking about? Okay, so let me have each of you do this for me, okay? Just G7 to F to G. Actually, let's do this together. Let's do this together. So here we go. One strum back and forth between these two. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. G7, F, G7, F, G7, F, G7, F, G7, F. Okay, now let's have each of you do that for me. Sharon, let's start with you. Fantastic. Great. Really good. Okay, Jennifer. Great. Great. Okay, Linda. Great. And Linda, try next week to be in a chair, or when you practice without that arm, because I really want you to
Yeah,
elbow. But
okay,
yeah. Okay.
okay.
Winter. Fantastic. Okay. Rachel. Okay, wait, we're going G7 to the F chord. Play me an F chord, the F. You're not the C chord, you just played a C chord. So we're not doing a C chord, we're just doing F and G7.
Got it. 1, 2.
Wait, play me the G7 chord, you should have 3 fingers on it. There you go.
And the F is 1.
Okay, let's have you look at me, Rachel. So the G7 chord is here, and then look at me, the F chord is where you're gonna lift and just put that 1 finger down there. And then G7, and then F. You see what I'm doing here?
So the third finger is missing from F.
That's right.
So that's, the other 2 are in the same placement, and then I just put the third finger down. Okay.
For your F chord, you gotta lift up, because this finger is gonna move up to this chord. I mean, up to this string here.
Okay. Okay. This one is.
Exactly, that's the F, yeah. There you go. And then back. Great. Yes. Okay, good. Now I'm going to show you something else that's another sort of a helper for learning ukulele. Okay. Now, if we play the F chord, and if you play it like this, and tell me if I told you this last week, I don't think I did. If you play it like this, 1, 2, then that takes 2 motions. But if you can put both fingers down at the same time, then it's one motion. See what I'm talking about? And this is also called hammering. We're going to actually do this. This is an advanced ukulele technique that you do on purpose to get this specific sound. But it's a great way to learn your chords from the very beginning. Instead of going 1, 2, you're just doing one motion. And that way it's a lot easier to go between chords. So everybody just play the F chord like this, and it should sound like this. Can you hear my uke? So you're putting both fingers down at the same time. Make sure that you're using the claw fingers. So just the F chord, that's all we're doing. Both of those fingers down at the same time. Can you hear something? Can you hear your ukulele doing this? The great thing about this is that you can actually practice doing this while you're watching TV or, you know, anything else. I know healthcare professionals have tons of spare time, so you guys probably just sit around eating bonbons, right? So, but this is a great thing to practice, is just doing it like that, okay? Now, with the G7, what we do is we practice keeping this finger here and just hammering with these two fingers. So now G7, instead of going 1, 2, 3, we're going to go 1 and then these two down at the same time. So it should sound like this. Now again, remember, keep that elbow out so that you're at the right angle. Linda, try to get that elbow out a bit. Remember, you want this to be at that angle. There you go. So it should sound like this. Okay, now if you can get in the habit of playing this way, it's going to make a really big difference in your playing. And we're going to do this with some other chords too that we learn. Okay, so F is these two down like this. And then G7. This also helps build up your calluses when you're first learning to play, which hurts at first, but then it makes it so much easier. Okay, so Sharon, let's hear you play these two for me. So I want you to just do the F a few times like that, and then I want you to do the G7 a few times. So start with the F. Now I want you to think of it as hammering. You're hitting. You're not lifting up, you're hitting. I want you to hit hard. Go ahead and look at your fingers while you're doing it. Let's see the F chord. There you go. Now do that. Very good, very good. And I want you to practice that, okay? Now do the G7. It's okay. Or you're just learning this stuff. It's okay that you don't already have it memorized. There you go. And you want to really hit it hard and try to get them landing at exactly the same time. Great. Really good. Really good. Jennifer, let's have you do the F first. Great. Let's do the G7. Hey, Jennifer, I want you to try this. Try moving the ukulele a little bit this way. There you go. Not too much, just a little bit. There you go, right there. Now see if that's a little bit more comfortable for you. I don't know if it will be or not. You're playing a concert uke, right? Is your ukulele a concert or is it a tenor? You don't know?
No, I don't know.
That's okay. Read what's inside here to me. You should have some letters that are stamped inside. What does it say?
15 cm.
Okay, so this is a concert. So that means it's a little bit bigger, which is great. I actually prefer the concert size. That's what I'm playing too. And so what you want to find where it's really comfortable for you. Yeah, that looks good to me, but as you're practicing, just kind of play around with it. But you want it to be comfortable with both your elbows out, okay? And so that's why you want to kind of find, might be more comfortable over here, might be more comfortable over here, but find that place where you have your elbow out and it's comfortable for you. Okay, now do this for me. The F chord. Yeah, great. Now the G7 chord. Check your first finger. Make sure it's on the right string. There you go. Yeah, excellent. Excellent. Okay, Linda, let's have you do this for me. The F chord. Let's see, I can't really see you too well, but that's okay. Can you,
Sorry.
if you can tilt, can you kind of turn the other way?
This way? This way?
Yeah, that way.
Okay.
Okay, great. And the G7? Great. It's tricky. It's finger gymnastics.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
But that's another great thing about ukulele is that it really will work your fingers and keep them, and we'll do other exercises as we go along. So you want to go look at your fingers when you're first doing this, everyone. Don't look away. Look at your fingers because you want to see if you're really hitting at the same time. Okay, so look at your fingers and make sure that both of them are going down at the same time. Okay, Winter. So Winter, I think, are you holding your strings? Let your, don't put your other hand over the strings so that you can actually hear it. You want to hear it. You can have your hand here, you just don't want to have it playing. Do you know what I mean? There you go, great. Now the G7. Yeah. And you see, it's tricky to get them at the exact same time. So and remember, you want to think of it as a hammer. You're hitting it. Okay, great. Rachel?
I'm having trouble on the G7.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Okay, do that for me now. The F chord. Your finger should be on that top string, the top string. There you go. Yeah. Good. And then G7. Great. And make sure that it's both fingers, both fingers. It should be two fingers hitting on both of those, okay? On the F chord, it's both fingers, and on the G7, it's two fingers as well. Do you understand what I mean? Okay, great. Now, everybody look up here. This is one of the rare gifts of ukulele. You play G7, and then to go to C, all you have to do is slide this finger down one fret. We love these little gifts that we get every once in a while. So G7, and then you're gonna lift these two fingers and slide it down one, okay? And that's C. So here we go. Everybody play G7 and look at me. Everyone play G7 and look at me. Got a G7? Now what you do is you lift these fingers, lift those fingers, and you just slide this down one. Okay, do that again. G7. G7. Now you're gonna lift these two fingers and leave that finger down. And then you slide it down one. There you go. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? So G7 to C. Super easy, right? G7 to C. Beautiful. Unfortunately, going backwards, we have to do the whole thing again. So now, so this is when you go from C back to G7, So everybody look up here. You're gonna go G7 to C. Now when you go back, I want you to do the 1, 2. Okay, so G7 to C, real easy. But now going from C to G7, I want you to go 1, 2. So let's go G7, C, G7, C, G7, C, G7, C. All right, so let me hear you guys. Let's see how much time we have left. Let's do this instead of having you play this for me because I think you can do this. We're gonna go C to F. We already did that. All right, so C to F, and then we're gonna go to G7, and then we're gonna go to C. All right, so here we go. Start on C. Now we're gonna do F, then G7, and then C. Does everybody understand what I'm asking? A little bit unclear. It should be hard, so don't worry about it being difficult. That's totally okay. Remember to do the 2 fingers down at the same time. So we're gonna play C, play the C chord, now the F chord, then the G7 chord, and then back to the C chord. So let's break this down a little bit. So now we were going C, F, right? You practiced that for this week. So that's easy, you got that, right? Now we do F to G7, F to G7. Let's do that a few times. F, G7, F, G7, and then G7, C, G7, C, G7, C. And the G7 to C, the tricky thing is, remember, you're going to slide down there. You just G7 and then the slide down to the C. Sharon, you look like I've completely confused you. Am I asking you to speak Russian?
I've never had any music exposure ever, so this is all
Hey,
new.
you're doing fantastic, so don't worry about it. I just want to make sure that when I'm teaching that it's just not all going like this, okay? So this is how I want you to practice this, everyone. As a matter of fact, I'm going to write this down. So this is the homework. So let me go ahead and write the homework down and have you guys write it down too. So the first thing is going to be play each chord string by string. Can you read my writing okay? So you're going to play each chord string by string, and it should sound like a harp, okay? And that's with your C, F, and G7, okay? Then the second thing that I want you to do is hammer F and G7, okay? Hammer that F and G7. Okay, then the third thing I want you to do is you're going to go C, F, then you're going to go F, G7, and then you're going to go G7, C. And what I mean by that is you're going to go C, F, C, F, C, F, C, F, back and forth, F, G7, F, G7, F, G7, and G7, C, G7, C, okay? So I want you to do all three of those. And then the fourth one is where we're putting them together. And so that's when we're going C, F, G7, C. We're going to go C, F, G7, C, F, G7. I shouldn't probably have written this last C. I'm going to draw this here. This means repeat. So you're going to just keep repeating this over and over again. C, F, G7, C, F, G7, C, F, G7. Okay. Now, the way that I want you to do the C, F, F, G7 and that is with our one strum. So remember, don't do a whole bunch of strums, just C, F, C, F, and then the F, G7, F, G7, and then the G7, C, G7, C, just one strum down, all right? And then I want you to do the third one, C, F, G7, C, F, G7, okay? So let's try that together. So we're gonna do, we've already done the 2 chord ones. Let's do the 3rd chord one now. So we're gonna go C, F, G7, C, F, G7. Most important is to go slowly enough that there's no pauses. You don't want to go C, F, G7. You want it to all be even. Okay, so we're going to go very slowly. So here we go. Catherine, you okay down there? Hi. Okay, so here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. C, F, G7, C, F, and notice how slowly we're going, G7, and I want you to say it. C, say the name of the chord, F, G7, C, F, G7, C, F, G7. Now we all learn in different ways and our brain learns in different ways. And that's why I have you do the same thing in different ways. And one of the things is to say the name of the chord while you're playing it. That's another way to get the chord into your head with those fingers, all right? So I want you to say the name of the chord while you're playing it, okay? So Sharon, let's have you play this for me now, okay? Good, now I want you to do it again, and this time say the name of the chord while you're playing it. G7. G7. I'll show you why that's important. That was awesome. Okay, Jennifer.
C, F, G7, C.
Very good. Okay, Linda.
C, F, G7, C.
Great. And I want you to keep, you don't stop on that second C. Keep going it, right? You know that.
Yes.
Okay.
F, G, C.
Okay. Great. Winter?
C, F, G7, C, F, G7,
Perfect. That's how you practice it. Keep it going like that. Perfect. Rachel?
C, F, G7, C, F, G7, C.
Excellent. Excellent. Catherine, did you figure out the G7 chord? Do you want to do this or do you want to just watch the video and figure it out? Unmute yourself. I can't hear you. Can you unmute? It should be a thing in your left corner. Well, you're on a phone.
Oh,
So
can you hear me now?
there, now I can hear you. Yeah,
Can you show me the G7 one time and then I should have it?
absolutely. Let's see.
Sorry, I didn't come to the last class because I had the kids.
It's totally okay. And I'm going to post this video of this class so that you can watch it. Okay.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So has everybody in here, you've all liked me on Facebook, right? So, I mean, we're all friends on Facebook. So
I haven't done that yet. I will.
okay, make sure you do that. And then I'm going to post, that's where I'm going to post this is I'm going to form a group on Facebook for just this class. And then that's how you'll reach me. There you go. That's the G7 chord.
Oh yeah, definitely was doing that wrong. Sorry. There we go. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So I want to show you guys all what I mean when I say G7. So hopefully you can you see this piano? Okay, so if we want a G chord, it's just these. Oh, let's see. Catherine, go ahead and mute yourself.
Oh, sorry.
All right. So now, when we have a chord is when you play multiple notes together. So that's a G chord right there. Okay, these 3 notes. But when we add, we're going to add another note to it. So this is 1, 3, and 5. This is 7. Can you hear the difference? This is a G chord. And then this is a G7 chord. And the reason it's 7 is because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's the 7th tone. Not that that matters at all. But we will later learn the G chord. And the G chord's different from the G7 chord. And 7th chords are really cool. That they're what make up jazz. They're in, you know, any kind of rock and roll, anything that we want to do, folk songs. Usually you'll have in a song, you'll have 2 regular chords and 1 7th chord. So it's really important when you play this chord that you call it G7 because you're going to later learn G. All right. And we'll learn C7. We'll learn, we won't learn F7. That one's, well, we will, but much later you learn D, D7, all of this. Okay. So make sure that you say the 7. It's really important. Okay. Any questions? Okay. You guys are awesome. This was really fun today. And I'll see y'all next week. And Catherine, I'll be posting this video, so make sure you like me, and then or not like me, but friend me.
Oh, okay. I must be an hour off of my time zones. I think I thought I was starting now. Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we're in California time zone.
Okay, I must have just
Shows
looked
that
at
I'm
it.
in Arizona, and that's where the confusion comes in because Arizona doesn't go on daylight savings time, and so
Okay.
half of the year Arizona's in Mountain Time, and half the year Arizona's in Pacific Time. So this is
Okay.
Pacific Time, same as
Got it.
California. All right?
Okay.
So, okay. All right. So next week you'll be okay. Yeah.
Yes. How do
Okay.
I find you on, and what do I find you on Facebook? What's your name again?
Oh, let's see. It's Liz Shropshire. I'm so glad that you asked that. Let me show you. This is what I look like. So it's Liz
Okay.
Shropshire, SHROPSHIRE. All right. Okay.
Thank
Okay, guys. See you next week. Keep practicing. You're doing fantastic. All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Have a
Bye-bye.
good week.
You too.
Bye-bye.